That's more like it. Welcome back, friends. Welcome back to the Penny Darling. I never know what to do. What if I just pretended to be French? Like, bonjour, Penny Darling. That's a really bad French accent. I am sorry to the entire country of France. Yes, this probably would have been a good time to Google how to say you're sorry in French. Anyway, I'm just like, this is how we do it. Welcome to my channel. Listen, I'm Sally Jesse Raphael. You can't tell me that I'm not. I'm just being weird. Good thing I got that extra big SD card. What if, oh, y'all, I got it. I'm gonna do a thing about theater, so I should sing it like, hello, Penny Darlings. I'm gonna just stop and start talking and we're just gonna see what happens. I didn't make a cue card. Usually I have a cue card taped to the front of my tripod so I don't do exactly what I'm doing right now, but I didn't do that today. And now I have many regrets. This is still not sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts, although I think it should be. Wait, what do you think? Dunkin'. Most of you know I am a hardcore theater nerd. I've been doing theater since I was in 3rd grade. I did my first show when I was 7. It was a musical, Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. Yeah, that children's book, somebody wrote a musical and I was in it. And when I auditioned, I sang the Gilligan's Island theme song because they said, just sing a song that you know all the words to. And when I was 7, I went, tight. I know all the lyrics to the Gilligan's Island theme song for no reason. And then every adult in the room thought that was hilarious for some reason. I got in the show. That's true. That's 100% true. I sang the Gilligan's Island theme song at my first audition as a kid. But I've been involved in theater in some way since I was a kid. I used to do community theater, I did theater at my church, I did theater at camp, I did theater at high school, I did community theater, I worked in a theater right out of college, I ran a theater club while I was in college, I wrote plays. Theater has been my entire life for as long as I can remember. I met Preston doing a play. I got engaged to him during a play. We got married at a theater. Theater is such an important part of our life. A lot of our life kind of revolves around it in a way. It's our thing, you know? If you're not a theater person, you're probably not familiar with this, but we are trained from the time that we get on stage that if something goes wrong, you figure it out. You figure it out no matter what. You have to improvise a line. If somebody forgets a prop, you make a decision. Do you have time to go get it? Do you have time to fake it? You have to decide right then and there how you're going to pretend that you either have or have not done or said something. And it can be really, really, really scary, particularly if you're not good at it. I happen to think I'm pretty good at covering up mistakes on stage. So what I want to do today is I want to tell you 3 separate times that I was on stage that everything just went berserk and I've never been more horrified in my entire life for. So strap in, this is the theater nerd story. If you are not a theater nerd, I will see you next week. Stay with me. Theater nerds, hello. So the very first one I want to tell you is when it's more embarrassing than it is, you know? When I was a kid, I was in a production of Charlotte's Web, and they had double casts. Do you know what I mean? They had A cast and B cast because there were so many performances and so many kids. For like legal reasons, you have to have 2 different casts of kids. And you know, it would be like A to A, B to B, C to C. Somewhere real far down the row, it didn't line up. And one time they brought in the A kid to the B cast and it didn't line up and they were short a person and I said, I was totally that kid that knew everybody else's lines. I was such a Hermione. I was like, I know his lines. I'll do it. I'll be the one who stands in. They had to find a costume for me on the fly. And the person I was filling in for was a boy. So it was a pair of overalls, but they didn't have a shirt to go underneath it. That was part of the joke, but he was not wearing a shirt underneath his overalls. But I was 12 at the time. Maybe a little younger. I don't know, I was in 5th grade. How old are you in 5th grade? 11? So I put on this overalls and say, you know, just keep it high up. It's gonna be fine. Spoiler alert, it was not fine. So I put on these stupid overalls, go out on the stage, and I'm like, well, what up, Wilbur? What up with your spider? She looks like she's a little, tweaked out. It was Charlotte's Web. Spoiler alert, it was Charlotte's Web. Whatever the line was. Pretty sure it was that. So I come on, the overalls, and then, for no good reason, the overall strap broke and totally left me booby out onto the world. I was 12! You know how mortifying that is to have your training bra exposed on stage? It was a Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction, and it was just the worst. You know what? I'm gonna just save my therapist some time. That's why I'm totally okay having my photo taken in my bra. I think someone's calling me.
Talk to you later.
Alright, I'll talk to you later, Dad.
I love you.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Dads are top notch. I don't know if your dad is top notch, but my dad's like pretty awesome. His name's Jack. His mustache, not to be trifled with. Anyway, after Charlotte's Web, I was booby out, exposed to the world, and then I just went, that's theater. I mean, at the time, I'm sure I was really upset. Completely full training bra. I'm just discovering I have boobs, exposure, in front of a person dressed like a spider and like 3 more people dressed as a pig. If I were older in that story, it would sound like I was on some sort of acid trip. That is 100% true, so that was my first stage mishap. Number 2. I am just gonna say that this is a Stephen Sondheim musical. I won't say specifically which one, but I was in a production of a few years ago. And if you have never heard of Sondheim, if you have never seen a Sondheim show, if you don't know who Stephen Sondheim is, Google him, you probably do. Sondheim music is really complex. The joke is that he hates actors. His music is all over the place. It's beautiful. Some of the most beautiful music I've ever heard, but it does not really help the singer all that much get back on track or find your note or find your pitch. Even if you just go la 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 la, don't stop. Because if you stop, you'll never get back on track. That's how complex the music is. If you stop singing for even 1 second, you can't get back and you're just lost forever. In theater, we call this foreshadowing. One night we're doing the show. It's opening night, all right? So the person singing this number, we'll call him Mike. Mike is all the way down in the front. We, the ensemble, 6 of us, tops, standing behind him. But when there's 6 of you, you all have to be right. You all have to know the notes. There's no room for anybody to make a mistake because you can't just hide it in a big ensemble number. You have to know what you're singing. Unfortunately for us in the ensemble, all of our music cues were based off of Mike. Opening night rolls around, we're all a little nervous. The song starts, we get 3/4 of the way through, and then Mike stops singing all together. He's leading the number. So now we, the ensemble, don't know what to sing because all of our cues are coming off of this guy. Half of the ensemble is standing there going, the other half is going, they're talking like a sim trying to get back on track for this song. Some of us are just going, what? It's a disaster. In real life, 10 seconds, 15 seconds is not that much time. On stage, it's a lifetime. And this went on for 30 seconds. Just the entire, because the band, the orchestra pit, is behind us. They don't hear that Mike has stopped singing. The band just finishes the song as all the ensemble's just standing there going, I have never been more mortified to be on stage in my entire life. Now, everybody should know their part and everybody should be able to carry it if somebody drops out. Sometimes that just doesn't happen and we all ended up looking really bad really quick. Coming in hot, number 3. This is the biggest, craziest. From the time I was in 5th grade till the time I was in 12th grade, I was actually part of a youth theater program in my community. The summer I turned 18 that I had graduated high school was the last year that I was eligible to do the musical. I was, of course, really sad. I loved the musicals. They were so fun, but you know, I was getting older. I was graduating, going to college. So in this particular instance, I'd been part of this youth theater program since I was in 5th grade. I choreographed, I had assistant directed, I had done everything with them. I'd worked with all the kids. I had been in every musical and play that they had done, even sometimes some of the like way worse ones. I just loved working with them, and I always had a good time being with my friends. So when it came to my senior year, they picked a big musical, Children of Eden. If you've never heard of it, it's written by the same guy who wrote Wicked. The first act is the story of Adam and Eve from creation till Eve's death, including Cain and Abel. The second act is like completely just a different story. It's Noah and his sons and the wives and the race of Cain and the flood and all of that on the ark and stuff, right? The original Broadway cast had a bunch of people who played main characters in the first act, played different main characters in the second act. We did not do that. Our director came up to the 5 seniors and said, "You all know what you can do. I know what your talent is, and so do you. Who do you want to play?" And basically let us pick who we wanted to be in this musical. Rachel's hand goes up, she said, "I want to be Yona. Oh, I want to be Adam. I want to be Noah." They get around the table to me. They go, "Abby, who do you want to be?" The role of Eve is standing wide open. And Eve has some of the most beautiful music in the show. I just go, "I want to be the snake." They're going, "What?" "I want to be the snake. I want to be the villain who comes and tempts Eve with the apple and just like slither around. It's sneaky snake." I was just going around that whole musical going, "Salutations." It was fun. It was way more fun. But the snake, as you know from the story of Adam and Eve and the story of Noah, is only in one of those stories. So the snake was only in the first act. And as a senior, as one of the older student leaders, they said, "You have to do something in the second act. If you're gonna play the snake and not Eve, you have to play something in the second act. Another small part." And I said, "Ugh, fine. Who's available?" The second act, Noah has 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. The story's mostly about Japheth and Yonah, but Ham and Shem have wives that are basically just, "Hey, we're the wives!" They have, I don't know, 6 lines and 2 solos. They don't do anything. But they were at least on stage the whole time, and your girl likes her stage time. I said, "I'll be one of the wives." They said, "Which one of the wives do you want to be?" And I looked at them. "I'll be the pregnant one because she at least has like a thing." They're nothing characters. They're just there because in the story they were there. In this particular one of them is pregnant and one of them is not. I picked the pregnant one. Her name was Afra. Fast forward. In this scene, this is like way too much backstory, but I elected, that's way too much backstory, should be the tagline of this show. I elected to play this role. Just to remind you, okay? I really wanted to play the snake. I did not care about playing Afra. So a lot of the times I just knew my lines, and the rest of the time that I was on stage for Afra, I was just "Oh, my baby," and just crying about being pregnant. But most of the time I was just sitting there going, "What am I gonna do tomorrow? Do I need a grocery shop?" Just thinking thoughts to myself, not really paying attention. In this show, there is a bird. For plot reasons, Yonah has to have a bird. The bird, she flies away. Later in the show, the bird comes back symbolically, but the bird coming back is supposed to signify the end of the flood to the people on the ark. So it's really important for the plot. I cannot stop burping. Don't tell my boss I'm gonna get fired. So this bird signifies the end of the flood, so it has to come back. That is crucial. So we get through most of the second act. Yonah throws her bird at her song. It flies away. It hits the wall. Now in some productions they use a real bird, or they just pantomime a bird, or they use like a stuffed bird or a light, something. Do you want to know what we did? They bought an animatronic bird. Whose idea was that? That's the worst idea I've ever heard. A 15-year-old boy lives above me in this room, and I can hear him listening to angsty music. Rock on, Dylan. She throws this animatronic bird. It's a drone that somebody's sitting in the back of the theater with a remote control pushing this bird around the theater, and it can barely stay up. It's about to take out everybody's uncle like right in the face as it goes by. It's the worst plan I've ever heard. But I'm not directing, so whatever. You can have this really insane bird. I'm just, "Oh, my baby." I cannot care about this terrible animatronic bird. So one night of a performance, The girl playing Yona takes the bird. They're trying to drone control it in the back of the theater. Beep, 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 beep. It smashes into the wall, crashes to the floor in the audience, and no one goes and picks it up. No one goes to pick it up. It has to come back. It's critical to the plot because the flood has to end. Otherwise, we're all secretly living underwater in some sort of Matrix-like situation. I'm like getting hot. I'm riled up about this story. So we're standing on stage. The boy playing Noah has his back to the audience, and the bird has to come back. And the bird brings a tree branch, and then they go, oh my God, if there's a tree branch, then the flood must be ending because that means there's trees somewhere. But the bird is not coming back. So I'm standing there just holding my stomach going, oh my baby, in the background, you know, whatever I'm supposed to be doing. And then I notice that the stage has gone silent. In theater, that is the worst thing that can happen, is for the stage to go completely silent. And then you're just sitting there going, oh my God, what's happening? Who's supposed to be here? Is it my line? Did I forget something? Is panic. 5 seconds can feel like an eternity. The 5 seconds goes by, 10 seconds goes by. I'm still back there going, oh my baby. And then I notice that it's silent. I cannot stress enough, I do not care what's happening in the scene, except now nothing's happening, so now I care a lot. So I'm still, oh my baby. I look around, like, is it me? I only have like 4 lines in this entire play. What are you talking about? But it's definitely not me. But then I'm thinking, well, what's supposed to be happening? That's how invested I am in this second act, is I don't even know what's supposed to be happening. The boy playing Noah kind of turns his head towards the woman playing his wife and just goes, the bird, the bird. He like starts mouthing it to her, the bird, the bird. I go in my head, obviously, because my face still has to be, oh my baby. Ah, the bird isn't coming back. So I just walk forward, pick up nothing, literally picked up nothing. I just pantomimed. So I lean forward, pick up absolutely nothing in my hand, and say, Mama, Mama, if there is a leaf, there is a tree. If there is a tree, there is land. Mama, the flood is ending. Just went, oh my baby, right into the background, because I genuinely, until that exact moment, did not know what was supposed to be happening. So I'm glad it worked out. I felt real cool because I saved the scene, and anybody in theater knows that's bragging rights for life. Next time I'll have Preston come on and tell you the story of how he saved a scene in the same Sondheim musical, because Sondheim hates actors. Sondheim, if you're watching this, I love you. I love your music. I'm a huge fan. But those are some of my favorite theater stories. You have to get it right the first time. That's part of it. Things in theater can go wrong so fast, so quickly, which is why everybody's usually pretty good at improvising, or at least they have a good sense of how to fix it, but sometimes things go awry. I've been in plays where we lost power in the middle. I've been in plays where we got fire evacuated, like the fire alarm went off and we got evacuated. I've been in shows that were canceled because of snow. I have been in shows where we had to like go on a lockdown during the performance. I've had ghost experiences at theaters. You never know what's gonna happen. Honestly, that's part of the thrill of doing live theater. Test yourself of how adaptable you are and how aware you are and how in the moment you are. It can be sometimes really thrilling and exciting. Sometimes it's one of the fun parts of theater. You get to kind of show off or flex a little bit that you can do it. Because it is a skill. You know, that's actually one of the most fun things about being an actor sometimes, is the absolute thrill of doing something live. Just saying, whatever happens, happens. We're here now. Let's do it. If you want to hear more theater stories, please let me know. If you have a good theater story, definitely let me know. Gotta get rid of those ums and likes, baby girl. Subscribe, like, send to a friend, follow me on Instagram, follow my blog, follow this website, follow the Yellow Brick Road, do all of the things. Until next time, my darlings. I think I'll try to find gravity.